Well, there's a timeline now for students in the New Orleans public school system to return to class. Whilst class will resume for those schools next week, schools in other parishes, of course, in limbo because of the hurricane.
Yeah, it's a tough situation all the way around, and it's placing even more stress on parents and kids who've been trying to navigate schooling during the pandemic. And Tan Trung reports on that for us tonight.
Buku pies, cookies.
Like so many parents dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, Monica Mosby is doing her best, taking care of her children while figuring out next steps for her damaged home in West Wego.
I don't know. I have a husband that's helping, but it's stressful. It's very stressful.
Mosby says the evacuation, the lack of power, and now questions about schools reopening is putting stress on her family. She's trying to find the right words to tell her 4 sons.
I try to tell my kids to be strong, but it's hard to tell them to be strong when you constantly breaking down in front of them and trying to hold back your tears. You can't hold back tears.
Caitlin Hoffman says her son Lance is too young to understand everything that's happened since the storm. But that doesn't stop him from needing the comfort of having a routine.
He just doesn't get it. Like, he wants Disney Channel all day long, and we don't have cable or anything right now, so he just doesn't understand. And we just can't go get chicken nuggets.
Monica Mosby's 11-year-old son Giovanni is eager to get back to the routine of school.
And it's been boring for me, but I'm ready to go back to school.
Ready to go back to school?
Yep.
Today, the New Orleans public school system announced it'll start welcoming kids back starting September 15th through September 22nd. But that's dependent on the return of electricity, teachers, staff, and bus drivers, among other essentials. Statewide, an estimated 250,000 students are out of school because of the hurricane. Louisiana school superintendent says reopening schools is a priority, but also a challenge.
It is not an easy process to make that selection, and a lot goes into that consideration of when you can reopen, because you want to make sure once you give the public a date that you're confident in your ability to meet that deadline.
In more heavily affected parishes like Jefferson, Terrebonne, and Lafourche, the timeline for reopening schools is less clear. Monica Mosby doesn't want to send her kids back for in-person learning because she's concerned about the high cases of COVID in Louisiana, which dominated so many aspects of life before the storm took over that role.
If they considering virtual, I would love for my kids to be learning right now or whatnot. But if they trying to have them back in the school where they don't care if the school have COVID, then no.
In the midst of a pandemic and now hurricane recovery, education in Louisiana must consider the physical health of students, but also the physical condition of their schools. Tan Trung, Eyewitness News.
Now, according to New Orleans Public Schools, 22 of the 88 schools in the system sustained damage. Power has been restored to 50% of the schools, and school officials are urging students to get tested for COVID before returning to class next week.